In latale Online, it is common for new players to feel overwhelmed by the difficult walls and challenges in the game. Many may feel their progress is being restricted by the amount of money they put into the game, and any efforts to play without pay are worthless. I believe that is not true, so I decided to categorize players by their approach to the game instead of categorizing latale as a game that requires you to spend your life savings to make gains. Players of latale can be categorized into 3 types, and within these 3 types is a range of players that aren't exactly the same. For the sake of this video, we will only use 3 players, one representing a fraction of each type. The first type, I like to call softcore. A softcore player is free to play, casual, or someone who is just looking to enjoy the game at a relaxed pace. The next type, I like to call medium core. A medium core player is a daily farmer or monthly spender that tries not to miss a day of gameplay. These players are looking to check off as many boxes as possible, but understand a higher level of commitment is needed to take their accounts to the next level. Finally, the hardcore player, commonly known as a tryhard, a pro, or a whale. These players spend as much money as needed or farm as many hours of the day needed to meet their goals. They are committed to getting the highest outputs in the game possible and are playing the game religiously. 2 things I want to make clear about these types of players is that there are subcategories within each type, and that at any point a player might decide to change their approach to the game. Some softcore players are willing to spend money on cosmetics, while others prefer to easy farm. Not all medium core players play every day or frequently spend, but I'd say most are looking to play the game in its entirety. Later in the video, we'll see that not all hardcore players are spenders. Some hardcore players work latale like a job, farming easily 40+ hours a week. Let's dive deeper and get to know someone within each category. Ruiz is level 235, Ascension level 658. For those who don't know, this means he's reached the initial level cap of 235 and his account is ascended, giving him access to the extended game in which the level cap is 9,999. This is a great accomplishment for a relatively new or returning player who is completely free to play. Ruiz has been playing for 2 months, almost every weekend. He says it helps to stay in a friendly, active guild. Bi-weekly events help a lot too. He says it's hard to say how often he plays, but he thinks it's between 10 to 20 hours a week, keeping in mind that he mostly plays on the weekend. Ruiz spends most of his time questing and ely farming. His advice to people looking to get as far as he has is to first join a friendly and active guild, like Zone. Check the official page to keep up with the game, and simply enjoy the game. I'll be using myself as the example of a medium core player. Keep in mind I'm just one type of medium core player, and my approach to the game sometimes leans into hardcore. At the time of this video, I'm Ascension 3932. It has taken me 5 months to get to this point, as I was only level 216 5 months ago, with years of playing on and off. I play latale every day, between 2 to 10 hours a day. Most of my time is spent questing and completing account-wide tasks, such as leveling my Ascension, reputation, champions, and the illustration book. My advice to anyone looking to take this approach to the game is to create long-term goals and stay committed to them. Remember to play the game for yourself. You're your own competition, and your journey is personal. Our hardcore player for today's latale gives me PTSD. He's a free-to-play player that is capable of solo clearing every dungeon in the game on all difficulties, an accomplishment that the other types of players could only dream of. PTSD is Ascension 3640, which if you haven't noticed is a lower level than what I've achieved. This just goes to show that level doesn't reflect someone's approach to the game beyond a certain point, but that's a conversation for another video. He says it took him around 10 months to get to where he is, but luck played a major factor in his journey. There were many times when he was very close to quitting the game. He says that latale's market can come and go. There just happened to be times where the items in the market aligned with what his next power spike was, and he was lucky to get them. How he spends his time is dependent on what he is currently focusing on. In the past month, he was grinding dungeons such as Flame Cradle and Heil. In the previous month, he was grinding champion missions non-stop. The month before, he was farming ely non-stop. His peak hours of daily farming were 6 hours a day. This had a major impact on his sleep schedule, and looking back, he says it was very unhealthy. but it is a part of how he got to where he is today. He wants new players to know that getting to where he is will straight up be hard and not easy. He left us with a quote from Elon Musk: "If you need motivation to succeed, then just quit right now. Chances are you won't make it unless you grind 24/7 and work hard." The problem with this game is that working hard isn't enough. Luck plays a big factor, as is common in most Korean MMOs. His final advice is to look at what you need, sort the needs based on most value or stat gain from the cheapest price, sort these in a priority list manner. For example, rushing Tengu Totem in the beginning, or even the blush, is a hell nah move. That's all. Next, I want to get into a bit of gameplay comparison. The dungeon used in this comparison is the Ascension level 500 dungeon, Hell, on easy mode. The reason I chose this dungeon was because it is one of the first walls in the endgame that will test whether or not continuing is really for you. Any player, whether they are softcore or hardcore, may feel challenged their first time running this dungeon. This challenge is symbolic of the endgame gameplay loop. Entering a dungeon for the first time will take you roughly 30 minutes to an hour. After running the dungeon enough times and increasing the stats of the gear it drops, and that of the surrounding dungeons, you will gradually decrease the clear time of the dungeon. I sped up Ruiz's final boss footage for the sake of the video. Our softcore player Ruiz has maxed out the weapons he has gotten from this dungeon, but he still needs to upgrade the badges from it, his special gear from other dungeons, and a variety of other account-wide stat boosting systems in the game. Despite his need to progress in these other aspects of the game, he is still capable of soloing Hell in under 40 minutes. To put things simply, any type of player can beat any dungeon in the game at the easy entry level, as long as they understand all of the ways they can increase their stats, and that the dungeon will be hard and long upon initial entry. No pun intended. My medium core damage compared to PTSD's hardcore or endgame damage is noticeable, but because of the level of the Hell dungeon, it may seem as though we are equal. Keep in mind this is an entry level Ascension dungeon and we are 3,000 levels higher than it, wearing gear that is in a completely different bracket. The truth is, it takes me 25 to 35 minutes to clear Hell in normal mode, while PTSD could easily clear it in under 20. By the time Ruiz gets his next set of accessories and specials around Ascension 800 to 1000, he will cut his Hell clear time almost in half. For the last part of this video, I want to discuss gear and account-wide accomplishments that play a role in categorizing these types of players. Taking a look at Ruiz's gear, we see that he has maxed out both his Hell weapons with good enchants. Despite this, his Evil Iris Totem, which has 50 levels, is only +4. I can't tell what his specials are, but as someone who helps Ruiz daily, I know that he has not maxed most of them as well. Taking a look at his fashion tab, we can see that his Ice Flower charm is level 1 out of 10. Ruiz is a free-to-play player, so this isn't uncommon. But a free-to-play medium or hardcore player would likely Ely farm to rush and get this item maxed. The same could be said for his Tengu Totem. In terms of his guild accessories, they're still level 1. These aren't as easy to max, but there are long-term free-to-play methods that can assist with these as well as Ely farming, but that is better left for a future video. Lastly, I can confidently say that Ruiz has not approached some of the account-wide stat boosters that you will see in the coming examples. In the scenario that Ruiz had maxed out all of the items mentioned before, his Hell runtime would likely drop 10 to 15 minutes. To represent a medium core player's accomplishments, I want to use the account-wide reputation system. This system reflects the reputation a player has with different level 200 to 235 zones in the game. I have all max level 7 reputations for the Guild Union, Union of Lights, and similar reps. I've maxed my Monster Gladiator, which is the Coliseum and Monster Tower base rep, and I'm still working on some of the harder reps, such as Chungzik, Monster Slayer, the Ely buff, and the Bounty Hunter reps. The account-wide stats you get from these reputations may seem small, but every number counts. Our hardcore player PTSD gave us this screenshot, which reflects one of the greatest account-wide accomplishments any player may ever achieve. He has maxed out all of his champion skills currently in the game. Champion skills are the full map attacks you have seen in some parts of the video, and maybe others. Each champion has a unique attack. At rank 6, all of the attacks evolve and the champions have a chance to give a buff. Also, each champion has a set of passive stats which increase each rank, and are account-wide. As you can see, PTSD has maxed them all. Under normal circumstances, which could be saved for a later video, maxing out champs can easily take a year, and that's no over-exaggeration. This is a reflection of a year straight of daily grind. No days missed. But as stated before, there are circumstances which can speed this process up, but only by a few months. If you made it this far, I hope you've learned something new, or at the very least, I hope you found this amusing. This project has been my most difficult yet, but it's far from the last. I encourage you all to post your opinions in the comment section, and maybe share what type of player you might be, and why. I'd appreciate a like on the video, and if you want to see more random latale based content, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm out.